Yo, what's up, family? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I want to welcome y'all to a special episode of Friday Night Live with me, Pastor Frank. As always, I'm so glad that you all are here, that you live and in person with me on tonight, as we doing a special episode. Listen, as promised, I'm doing a season one recap as well as Q&A. I have a special guest. Some of y'all may see her. Well, let me see. She right over here, right over here. I got a special guest back on tonight, as promised. I promised that I would bring Toya Johnson back on. Our special therapist, right? She's not a Dr. Dre therapist, right? She's a real licensed, therapist, y'all. And so I'm just so excited. Do me a favor, go ahead and tag some folks as you coming in. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Let folks know that we live and we in person as we doing a quick season one recap and Q&A. And if you got your questions, get your questions ready as always, because as promised, I said I would bring Toya Johnson back, and so I got her back, and so we're gonna spend a little time just kind of recapping and summarizing the season that we had, as well as if she or I, if you have some questions for me, or if you have, you like, man, I've really been trying to, ask a therapist this question, right? You can also get, add your question into the chat, and ask Toya, right? As much as I may think that I know, I don't know everything, and especially, you can't come lay on my couch and ask me no questions, right? I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Most of the stuff that I tell you, if it ain't biblical, I'm gonna probably send you off. And so, but I'm gonna have fun doing it. But without further ado, y'all show your love. Y'all know what I'm talking about. For Miss Toya Johnson. What's up, TT? Hold on. It ain't no real technical difficulties. That was on me this time, y'all. What's up, TT?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
Thanks for
doing I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on again. As promised, I told the people I would have you back, and so you know me, I got to make sure I keep my word.
that.
Because I told people, I did get some inboxes, and people were excited to have you on. They was, they like, man, you know, they was like that devil. And sometimes it might be the devil, and sometimes it may just be us and our technology. Ain't no telling. But thanks for coming on. So I really just want to kind of jump right into it real quick, and just kind of, because I told the people that as we doing as part of the recap, I just kind of want to summarize, and look, we did 23 episodes. That in and of itself, I ain't gonna lie to you, it sound crazy. I'm like, although I,
I,
I knew I was gonna do 23 episodes, like, I wrote it out, storyboarded and all of that. Once I actually got finished, I'm like, wow. You
hmm
know, I think when I was writing the numbers and stuff down, like 23, I was thinking like $20, right? I'm be honest. I was like, $20 is not it is a lot, but it's not really a lot. So in my head, I was thinking 20 is not much. And then as we got going, I was like, oh, that's like 4 months.
hmm, weekly.
And so
hmm
and I love doing the Friday night lives. I love my crew that comes on faithfully and everything. But I was yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was ready for a break. And so but again, I promised that I would do a recap of the season. And so what I did, our very last episode, which was episode 23, a couple of weeks ago on April the 5th, was titled Evolving Faith, right? And so I shared with them on that very last episode that Evolving Faith, although that was episode 23, that episode 23, the title and the idea actually was the very first topic that I had when I had the idea of even doing these Friday night lives, which was kind of funny. And so, I explained to them that even though I got that idea first, I also, what I knew was that was the topic. That was like that's what I was leading up to, right? Everything that we talk about in between was to help get us to evolving faith. And so, I thought it was a great episode because at the end of the day, what I believe that what God was really trying to say to me first, and then He gave me the thought to maybe share that idea with others, is that for many of us, we may find ourselves kind of feeling stagnant, right, in our faith.
Mhm.
The reality is that what I believe what God was trying to share is that our faith is always supposed to be evolving or growing, right? You know,
Mhm.
just like we ourselves are always growing and evolving. Although sometimes we don't always grow in the right direction that we may want to. Some of us may want to grow up, but we grow out. But you
Mhm.
know, nevertheless, we're still growing and we're still evolving. And so, but the idea was in order for us to even talk about evolving faith, I felt like we really had to go through a process of just kind of even understanding um like one I felt like we needed to talk about what faith is, right? um and but then as I even started writing down, okay, faith, right? And I was inspired by various different things. And and the faith, so the faith episode, which you would think that if I understood that, okay, evolving faith is the end, you would think that I probably would have started exactly with what's up, Nidra. You would have thought that I would have started with faith. And so
Mhm.
how as I was storyboarding and just kind of letting God be download what he was trying to say in the right way, and me trying to put it together. Faith was not the first episode, right? Faith was actually the episode number 3, which was faith or delusion. And what ended up happening was, I will say it was going to be the first episode, but then I began to just kind of, the more I began to sit with it and kind of realize, hey, what's going on, Miss Sharon? As I began to kind of just sit with the idea of where I was trying to take this and where I felt he was leading me, I realized that even though faith, we do have to understand faith, there were some other things that we need to understand, a couple of practical things I felt like. And so the first episode ended up being prayer versus process, right?
Mm.
Because hey, what's going on, Miss Sharon? I don't know if you heard me, um and the reason I started with prayer versus process, because I believe that there were so many people. Sometimes it's hard for us to, you talking about evolving faith, which would kind of suggest that there's already a foundation of faith that you're trying to get to grow. Um and I believe that before people can get to that place, I had to realize that everybody doesn't necessarily have the same foundation of faith, right?
Mhm.
And face many different challenges, to the point that I realized that for some people, um, they you- and I don't know if you've ever had to experience this in your line of work as a therapist, but one of the things that I realized just in some conversation with people, that there's a lot of people who actually was kind of mad at God because they may have felt like he had not answered some of their prayers, right? And in conversation, I realized that a lot of people were mistaking the fact that they prayed about something, that they would not have to go through a process, right?
Mm.
And so the first episode ended up being prayer versus process, where I felt like, okay, let me start. I felt like this was a good place to start, right? Just because you pray about something doesn't mean that God, like, because God has a process for everything, right?
Mhm.
When we say God, if we say, God, I need more strength, He's not going to just like twist off the top and then pour some more, faith in there. No, He's going to take you through a process that helps you develop more faith. And
Mhm.
so no matter what we may pray, if a person is praying, saying, "Oh Lord, why is all this happening to me?" And I just can't take it and I can't do it. And the reality is, just because you pray for God to remove something, or help you from not having to experience certain thing does not change whatever God's process may be, right?
Correct.
And so and I said, okay, I think that's a good place to start. And then
Well,
we in
well, hold on. But so, like you said, that it related to, just to kind of relate that a little bit to counseling, and even hi everybody. But even with even this process of people have questions, right? That they can, you know, send a message, and just to kind of piggyback off of what you said of people pray and then God, they didn't do it. So even when it comes to the counseling piece, sometimes people are saying, well, I want to talk to a counselor and ask them a question, and this is going on. And sometimes they come in. I have some people who've come in and then they expect me just to give them an answer,
right.
and just fix it. And depending on the situation, I can give you knowledge, I can give you information,
Oh, that's good.
but it's still a process to get to what you want to get to, depending on what it is. So, yes, you can have questions and like, well, what about this? And that's typically knowledge, information,
Hmm.
but to get to, depending on what the issue is that you want to address, you know, arguments with discord between family members and all of that, that's a
Hmm.
process. Anything is still a process. So it becomes learning skills. Maybe I get really angry and I fly off the handle real quick. So regardless, I get sometimes people coming in asking their questions, and there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. You get information, but then if you want to actually work on something, that's a
yeah.
process. So go ahead.
Man, you said a whole bunch.
Yeah, yeah.
um, Man, that's good. As a matter of fact, look, I'm just letting you know now. I'm putting it out here now. We may have to bring you back on as like a as a regular next season. What you say, Nija? They want you to fix my life like a young
Yes.
Toya, fix my life. let, let me lay
And,
on the couch and you just fix me.
and if anyone's seen any of those episodes, it's definitely a process. She takes
Yeah,
them through a process.
yeah. And
So,
so that was one of the key things that I believe he really pointed out that we had to understand that what's up, Amon just dropped on. What's
what's
up,
up?
Amon?
Hey.
Um and so that's our brother, y'all. My brother Amon just chimed in. But yeah, that whole process thing is key. Because for some reason, I mean, we 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 as people, right, we have a interesting knack of not wanting to go through processes, right? Because processes can cause us to be uncomfortable. Or and Haman said, "What's the gospel?" Uh, and but the those processes can cause us to be uncomfortable, right? And I know as a pastor, one of the things that I often notice is that within the church, and well, and I don't even want to say as a pastor, just in church in general, what I realize and notice have come to notice is that so many people don't want to be uncomfortable. We want to be comfortable. Um, and the
Mhm.
reality is being comfortable is I would say is an enemy to growth. you know and so although we can say the root of it is fear, which it is, but we don't want to be uncomfortable. So I you know what I mean, I'll just settle for being right here, right? I'll just accept that this is as good as it can get, not because you really believe it's as good as it gets. It's just I've come to realize that people just don't want to go through the process, you
Mhm.
know and even to the point of, and I know you do marital counseling, correct? Or like I don't want to say marital counseling, but therapy. Is it something like that or no?
Well, I do see couples. I
Okay,
don't do
couple.
marital
Okay, there
counseling,
you go. There you
but I
go.
do see couples. Yes.
Okay, and the only reason I ask that because I oftentimes I would always, when I would speak to someone about when it pertains to relationships, um oftentimes I would talk about how that two people like you have two people in a relationship who have two different ideologies, right? It's not just you got two different personalities, you have two different ideologies. And so if both of you may have some unhealthy, ways or things that you may have learned, and that are you don't know that, you may not be aware that those ways are
Mm.
unhealthy, right? And
Mhm.
so and you may not even be aware that, the way that you express love, or you and the way that you have been taught how to express love, like, yeah, that's toxic. That
Mhm.
there's nothing about that that is actually really loving. And I'm just kind of moving through, because at the end of the, we're not gonna hold the people on too long, but and so in the midst of, as we're talking about growing our faith, and going through the process of learning how our faith should evolve, God was helping me to realize that for many of us, and not just in our, so I believe, let me say this before I go where I'm going. I believe that the way that we express love to one another, typically that's how we're going to express our love to God, right? And so if we don't know how to love the people closest to us, how can we really properly express our love for God? Right? We might say that we love him, right? But if the love that you was taught has limits, right, then you're only going to express love up to a certain point, right? You're not going to be comfortable, right? You're
Mhm.
not going to be willing to be comfortable, and when God may be requiring you to go beyond, you being comfortable, yeah, but then it becomes like, well, you bullying me, or you know what I'm saying, like you're picking on me because that version of, like, the idea that in the Bible we teach that love is sacrificial, right? But yeah, but then that fear and the way we would talk can often cause us to say, well, if you love me, you wouldn't ask me to do that. Well, if they're trying to help you to grow, they're trying to push you to better, but you don't perceive it as being love. You perceive it as, them trying to push you into doing something, making you uncomfortable, which then means they don't love you.
Mhm.
And so, which led me to even do the love series for the month of February, because I felt like, okay, as we're talking about growing our faith, there's no way we can talk about growing our faith and not talk about how do we what love is, right? Starting with what the foundation of love is according to what the Bible says, but then how do we even express that? And so I'm curious, did you have, I mean, when you dealing with couples and things, is that something that you found to be kind of prevalent, in couples where, is sometimes it may just be as simple as, you know, I don't know that love language, they don't know they love language, and sometimes it's a little bit more than that.
Well, let me just be honest. Unfortunately, by the time most people come to couples counseling, there are major issues.
Hmm.
So it's bigger than what you just said, unfortunately. So it would be nice if most people just came to counseling
Hmm.
before there's an issue, to just see how do we communicate, how can we make things better just overall.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, it usually is that, but it's also amplified. It's usually bigger than that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what ends up happening is, while people come in as with couples, come to find out, it would be more beneficial if they had their own individual counseling first
Hmm.
and then came together because
So
of.
let me put a pin. Don't lose that. Y'all heard it first. Y'all couples. You need to seek your own therapy first, right? Because we all individually is crazy first. She ain't say that, but I'm gonna say it. What she's saying is we all individually crazy. So before we come bringing all of this foolishness to go see the therapist as a couple, we need to go by ourselves. Go ahead.
Which I didn't say that. I'm just saying, usually by the time,
But mom said, "Get me together first."
yeah, usually a lot of times what's coming in is other people's personal issues. And sometimes when
Yeah.
I'm talking with couples, sometimes I have to tell them, like, I'm sorry, this is a you thing. This is
Yeah.
not a this person thing or a us thing. This is a you. This is my personal issue that comes into the relationship. So I have to learn how to make adjustments.
Can you see
I'm
anything on
laughing
the
at these
screen?
comments.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if you could see it or
I
not.
can yes. But yeah, so taking care of your own way of how you process things and then couples is best. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna stop. We can
Yeah.
keep going.
I think you might have some I think you might have some potential clients on here. Sign me up first. um, but yeah,
Okay.
I
But now we
think
gotta
that's
keep
important.
going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important um, to talk about because the whole reason that I believe God gave me the whole Friday Night Live idea is that sometimes, I love church on Sunday, right? That's a place and a time, but realistically, church on Sunday is supposed to be more about God, right? We come and gather. I mean, that's my belief. We as believers, we come together to worship and praise God. But we as Christians, we need other outlets, right? Or we still need some kind of spiritual nourishment, and it don't always have to be in the form of, let me just quote a couple of scriptures and sound real deep. I believe that one of the reasons that a lot of Christians, although they've been in church so long, their faith may not have evolved because not too many ministers may have made, or that they may have experienced or heard, made the connection of making the way that we live our life as a Christian, made it practical, right?
Mhm.
And I think I mentioned before when I had you on, I know growing up as kids, I never heard. Now again, I'm not gonna say that they didn't. I'm only gonna say I have never heard of any pastors, other than biblical counseling, come and see the preacher and the preacher pray for you and quote you some scripture, say, well, the Bible says you're supposed to love thy neighbor. Yeah, but I want to stab him in his eye, right? So what am I supposed to do about that, right? You know, you
Mhm.
tell me to just pray about it, but like I really got animosity, right? And so I never heard in my opinion, pastors or ministers or leaders really helping the flock or other believers to really apply or make the Bible, applicable to our everyday lives,
Mhm.
which I believe would also kind of help people to leave church as a Sunday thing, right? And then the rest of my life is the rest of whatever it is. And so, which also led me to going through a series of talking about not just the love, but we talk about love in the church, and then talking through church hurt and even toxic spirituality, right? Because there's so many of us. Because I believe when I'm with so many of us, so many people that claim to be Christians, that I believe they practice what would be considered toxic spirituality and have no clue. Because I've been going to the First Ebenezer Baptist Backwood Bible Church for 35 years, and my name is on the pew over there, right? But just be like what Whoopi Goldberg say, but just be mean and surly, right? And it's like that, like biblically, that's not possible for you if you really are a Christian, like a real life bona fide Christian. It ain't possible for you to be mean and surly, you know. And so I believe that, but then some of these people are the main ones who may have tried to pass down some traditions or certain things that may have caused a lot of younger people to want to like walk away from the church, right? Because it's like you smile in front of people's faces at the church house, but then when you leave the church house, I know you mean, I know you're evil, and it's like you seem hypocritical. And so I felt that God was leading me to even talk through like how, that was it's unfortunate, but that was a bad reputation. And so the reality is that for a lot of us that grew up in church, now those of us who didn't grow up in church, we may have it a little bit easier in learning and understanding God, although the world is crazy, so we still need therapy. But especially for those of us who've been in church or grew up in church, traditional church for a long time, we have that struggle with therapy versus theology because if you think about therapy, then you really ain't trusting God and all that type of thing. And so, yeah, I'm just so excited that God is doing some big things. So, like I said, just know that next I'm gonna figure out as I'm storyboarding it because I'm already working on season 2 that we gonna find Nidra, Nicole, y'all hear me now? Like I'm gonna figure out a way how to get Toya back on here. We may give her like a little snippet once a month called Ask Toya. Well, we all us crazy folks, we can come on the Friday Night Live couch that day and say, hey, it's time to go lay on the couch and and so but thanks for coming on, TT. um
Thanks for having me. I
you you
appreciate it.
you know your brother is crazy and I ain't talking about Amon. And so but it ain't too many people that can rock and roll with me and the way that we do. And so but yeah, I'm glad that you on. And did anything you want to say before we log off and get ready to get up out of here?
Well, just to piggyback off of just needing someone to talk to, of course, you can find me, but you can look on Psychology Today to find myself or any other possible counselor or therapist. And if you feel like I think I may need to, um,
Call Toya.
or call me. I mean, I'm gonna plug me, but I'm also you got to find the right fit.
Yeah,
Bottom line, you have to
yeah.
find the right fit. So, I mean, I'm good. I'm just gonna toot my own little horn, but I want you to make sure you find the right person to make sure you're talking to someone as you're navigating. I like to say this thing called life.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes need additional supports to do that. So, that's my little comment of you can find me. You can also email me. I know Frank has my email up there. It will
Hold
be
on,
coming in
y'all.
a second.
Let me put it up there. Okay, where is it? Okay, there you go.
And
Is it up? There you go.
well, once it gets up there, but you can email me directly. At justbreathe10987 at gmail.com. I can answer some questions via virtually as well. I can send you a link and we can set up appointments that way. As you can see, I offer a free 15-minute consultation so we can kind of talk through a couple of things, just to see if we're a good fit. So you can pass this information along. Pass the wealth. So no, that's all I have. And yes, I
Yeah,
can't wait to come back on
for
and share some
sure,
more.
for sure. And so before we get up out of here, y'all, real quick, I want to throw out in case you happen to miss the intro. If there's anybody that may happen to see this particular recap episode, if you happen to miss the live stream, the whole full season 1, you now have an opportunity to watch the replay starting on May 24th. Again, starting on May 24th at 7 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel, but starting with episode 1, the entire season 1 will start May 24th, and then every Friday after that, the season 1 will just re-air. As they say, you get to watch the replay, right? So make sure if you missed everything, you kind of get to relive what many of us already went through already as we're preparing for season 2. But then also, you all, if you happen to miss it, and don't worry, some of this stuff you'll see me posting flyers about it real soon. Probably, as a matter of fact, right after we finish going live, I'll probably post the 2 flyers. But I mentioned to you all also that I wanted you all to make sure you send me a text to 833-858-5897. Again, if you have not sent me a text to 833-858-5897, make sure you do so. I want to stay connected with you because also on June the 3rd, For the summer, I mentioned that I will be doing something. I'm trying to do something different, something unique. Doing a Bible study through text, right? So that means there will be some lessons that you will be able to read on your own, at your own pace, right? And so, starting on June 3rd is when the Bible study through text will begin, called Knowing God Better. And so it'll be a Bible study in partnership, with another group or another organization, where you'll receive these texts instantly once you sign up, for the Bible study text, and you will receive these texts. Watch this. It's a 36-day Bible. I'm calling it a 36-day summer series, right? But it's all through text. So you don't have to be like, man, can I make it there? Can I get there? No, that means simply means once you subscribe and sign in, for the Bible study text on June 3rd, you will start receiving those text messages. Let you know, and the Bible study will begin, right? And so if you it don't matter what time. Well, what time is it gonna be? You ain't even got to worry about the time. The text is gonna come, probably at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe 9 o'clock. We'll figure that out. But then you get to read read the Bible study information at your own pace, and then maybe we'll figure it out. But as God is kind of downloading it to me, I may do a halfway point halfway through, maybe after we hit 18 days, maybe I'll hop back on and we can have a discussion about what we've read so far and how we feel about it and things of that nature, connecting some of the dots as we keep going. But the key is you gotta shoot me a text, right? So that I can have your information and sign you up for the Bible study. So this is what I want you to do. Shoot me a text to 833 if you're interested in what is called the Faith Text Bible Study. I'm trying to do something new and innovative, right? So it's called the Faith Text Bible Study. So shoot me a text that simply says Bible Study to 833-858-5897, and that way I'll know to add you to the Faith Text Bible Study. Again, that number is 833-858-5897. Simply shoot me a text that says Bible Study, and I know to add you to that. Nidra, I already got you locked in because you were the first person that subscribed and did all of that stuff back in the day when I was like, stay in contact, so you good. Come on now. Nidra gonna be, Nidra, I'm about to put you to work. I'm just letting you know. That's my girl. But shoot me a text to 833-858-5897 that says Bible Study. Now, maybe you don't want to be, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe, what's up, Big Papa? Papa Bear's in the house. But maybe you don't necessarily want to do the Bible study, but you still want to stay connected with me. That you can still just shoot me a text. You can say hello, you can say hi, whatever you want to say. I see you, Nidra. To 833-858-5897. That's one of the easiest ways that we could stay connected. Even when it's time to get ready for season 2 or other things that we got going on, you might be able to get one of those text messages first. I will say that I'm planning to do like a Starbucks pop up. Just kind of. I don't. Most people will call it a meet and greet. I don't know if I want to call it a meet and greet. I might do it because that's what it's called. But a little Starbucks pop up, so at some point in time during the summer, where we may pop up on a Saturday. Come get your coffee, your latte, your whatever it is you drink. For an hour, we get to chop it up, kick it. Maybe even as I told you all, I'll be launching a new church, and so some of y'all may want to hear more information about the church. From me personally, I will say that I will be doing, putting together what would be considered like a virtual vision gathering where I'll simply be, I see you, where I'll be simply just sharing what the vision is and mission is for Redwood Church, and just kind of explaining what that would look like, because God is in the innovative business, you all. And I one thing, and I say that because well, let me rephrase that. God is in the people business, right? But I believe God is calling people like me to be innovative. I ain't saying that I'm the only person. I ain't saying this is the only way. But what I am saying is God is calling me to be innovative, in reaching different people, right? And so, I'm excited for what God is doing. Hopefully, y'all will be with me and come along with me on this journey. And so, in the meantime, I hope that you all enjoy this off season. If you haven't seen the full season, don't forget May 24th. The replay starts. You'll see the reminders coming up when it's time. And so, but until then, as always, I love y'all. There's nothing you can do about it. We got to get up out of here. Peace out.